is Kyle O'Reilly. Make sure you watch and listen to WrestleTalk.
Support WrestleTalk!
Thank you for your awesome support on Patreon, the $100 man, CD Horvair. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Mecca News. Hi, I'm Luke Owen. Have yourself a super click party? Super click. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below to answer our question of the day. Will you be ordering All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing on pay-per-view on May 25th? We've got a packed show of news for you today, including the latest on AEW's US TV deal, WWE cancelling a match featuring All Elite talent, and Lars Sullivan's comments on the scandal he's found himself in. But first, Becky Lynch is currently embroiled in a feud with Lacey Evans over on Monday Night Raw for the red version of her Women's Championships. And it would appear that Becky's mum was at a recent event, with the man tweeting a picture of her and her ma. Lacey retweeted this photo saying that she wishes she could have met her mother, but Becky responded by saying they have met and her ma wasn't impressed. So you'd think that would be the end of this news bit, but it wasn't the end for Big Horn E. Due to being out with an injury which could take him out for most of 2019, Big E apparently has a lot of time on his hands, and he's choosing to use that time by getting the pot noodle horn over Mama Lynch. Mama Lynch is hella foxy. I would pay a small fortune for a photo shoot featuring Mama Lynch in a sundress. I would take my jacket off and toss it onto a puddle so Mama Lynch could walk across it. Scratch that, I would lay my whole body in the puddle so Mama Lynch could walk across me. I would learn to become a cycling class instructor and offer Mama Lynch free classes just in the hope that I can see her post-workout glisten. Down, boy! He even posted his own parody of the Wolverine meme, holding a picture of Mama Lynch while wearing marigolds. And this isn't the first time that Big E has been horned over Mama Lynch, calling her a full meal on a Mother's Day photo that Lynch posted on Instagram. And the man has responded to all of this by saying, "I'm just telling you, I better not end up being Beck E. Langston out of all of this." And speaking of big fans, we wanted to thank each and every one of you who came down for WrestleTalk live in London at the Prince Charles Cinema this past Tuesday. We screened the cinematic classic Ready to Rumble and then recorded a live podcast after the movie discussing the wrestling career of David Arquette. The podcast version of that show is now available for Patreon backers and will go live in the free feed next week. Here's what you can expect from the show.
So I asked my lady partner what she thought of the treatment of women in the film. She said progressive. This was a film made 2 decades ago.
It felt longer.
Oh, that final outtake where David Arquette is just staring at Rose McGowan's breasts. There's a way where Rose McGowan is really at the forefront of the #MeToo movement. Oh, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, you can see why she was.
Speaking of awkward, and things are certainly tense around Lars Sullivan and WWE at the moment, after a series of racist, homophobic, and sexist comments Sullivan made on a bodybuilding forum in 2008 have resurfaced. Mama Lynch fan Big E has made reference to them, and now so has Kalisto, who's weighed in by tweeting, "He just needs to get out of my way." Sullivan is currently on WWE's European tour, with WrestleVotes tweeting, "Source states WWE is aware of what's making the rounds online." His exact words were, "They are hoping it stays low and disappears." And Sullivan himself has now released a statement to Wrestling Inc. saying, "There is no excuse for the inappropriate remarks that I made years ago. They do not reflect my personal beliefs nor who I am today, and I apologize to anyone I offended." So it seems that Lars Sullivan will be sticking around in WWE, and so will someone else for the foreseeable future. Shortly after this year's WrestleMania, Luke Harper requested his release from WWE via Twitter. This request was sadly turned down, and Dave Meltzer reported last week that there were conversations about which brand Harper will be on in the somehow still ongoing superstar shakeup, but that was shut down by Vince McMahon, who said that Harper can't do a southern accent, something he's held against him since his days in the Wyatt family. It was then reported because of Harper's injury last year, his contract that was set to expire in November 2019 was extended to April 2020. Dave Meltzer has added to this story in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, writing that Harper met with Vince McMahon to again ask about his release, but McMahon told him to take it up with Triple H, who didn't respond to him. McMahon telling Harper to speak to Triple H about the situation is interesting. Back in March, Pro Wrestling Sheet reported that Goldust would soon be a free agent, which was later confirmed when he was announced as his brother Cody's opponent for All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing later this month. Why this is interesting is that it was reported that it was was Triple H who actually convinced Vince McMahon to release Goldust from his contract so he could leave for AEW. As to why Triple H would convince McMahon to let one of their talents leave for the competition is an intriguing one, and could possibly play into the theories that the game is playing some sort of game of backstage politics, including the recently reported liking of a tweet criticizing Vince McMahon's booking of the company. As for Luke Harper, though, Dave Meltzer is reporting that Harper has been given no future bookings, but also won't be let out of his contract, which, might still be better than what the Revival are doing on Raw. Someone who was able to get out of their WWE contract was former SmackDown Tag Team Champion Rhino, who was announced recently to be returning to the independent scene when his contract expires on July 17th. In an interview with Chris Van Vliet, Rhino noted that WWE had actually offered him double what he's currently earning in order for him to stay with the company, which he turned down as he would rather work on the independent scene to help younger guys grow. And this ties into previous reports that WWE were concerned about the rise of All Elite Wrestling and their talent asking for their releases, both publicly like Luke Harper and reportedly behind closed doors like Sasha Banks. AEW's Jim Ross noted that he suggested bringing someone into All Elite Wrestling from WWE, but was told they just signed a new $500,000 a year deal contract despite the company never putting them on TV. The Revival reportedly turned down this exact same offer, and Leo Rush turned down a similar offer according to PW Insider. Rhino adds in his interview that while he doesn't know if WWE are concerned or scared about the rise of competition in North America, he does say that companies like Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and All Elite Wrestling are doing more and more shows in bigger and bigger venues on what had previously been solely Vince McMahon's soil for the last 20 years, saying, "I think that's why they're offering a lot of money." Someone who might not be looking to make the jump to AEW, on the other hand, is the current Progress Women's Champion Jordynne Grace, who recently retained her title at Super Strong Style 16 against Millie McKenzie, Nina Samuels, and Session Moth. WrestleTalk.com's Louis Dangoor sat down with Grace over Super Strong Style 16 weekend, where she had this to say about sticking with Impact Wrestling for the time being, saying that they're the best company that uses their female talent.
I definitely want to help Impact rise, hopefully above and beyond Ring of Honor, and I know eventually AEW is going to be an amazing company, but they're brand new. They haven't even run a single show yet, and Impact has been around for years, and I think to get up to where they used to be, they have to keep bringing this new talent who are going to put eyes on them. So I definitely want to stay with Impact. I absolutely love the locker room. The Knockouts roster is, I think, one of the best it's ever been. With Tessa, Taya, just everybody there is an incredible wrestler, even if they haven't been featured as much, like Kiera Hogan, who's just an incredible athlete, and she just really needs to be showcased more. And also the opportunities for the Knockouts. There's so much more opportunities than anywhere else, I think. They have 3 storylines right now that they're running. The one with Scarlett, they had one with me and Taya, they had one with Tessa and Gail. So the women are not at each other's throats like they are at Ring of Honor or other places, We're not vying for one spot. There's all kinds of opportunities for us. So it makes for a really relaxed backstage atmosphere.
That full interview, along with interviews with Walter, Trent Seven, Mark and Vicky Haskins, and AEW's Jimmy Havoc, is now available for free in the Wrestle Ramble podcast feed. And WWE's concerns over AEW might again be coming to light, as they've recently pulled a women's match in Japan. All Elite Wrestling's Bea Priestley recently captured the World of Stardom Championship, and there were plans in place to build towards a championship match between Priestley and NXT UK's Toni Storm. However, Stardom recently tweeted that due to circumstances beyond our control, the match had to be cancelled, and I think we can all guess what those circumstances were. Dave Meltzer confirmed on Wrestling Observer Radio that it was indeed WWE's decision to pull the plug on the match, as Bea Priestley would likely have to win, and they didn't want their NXT UK Women's Champion taking the loss against someone signed with All Elite Wrestling. Just remember that the next time someone from WWE tells you that wins and loss don't matter in modern wrestling. Meltzer adds that WWE didn't even offer Stardom the opportunity to change the finish of the match, like changing it to a draw so neither woman wins or loses, similar to the finish of Will Ospreay vs. Pac at Revolution Pro Wrestling, where both men were champions in New Japan and Dragon Gate and they went to a time limit draw. Instead, WWE just demanded that the match be cancelled, with Stardom instead announcing announcing that Priestley will defend her title against Hazuki, while Storm will face former champion Kagetsu. This is another in a long line of examples of WWE pulling talent because of All Elite Wrestling. Pulling The Undertaker from StarCast 2 and the speaking portion of his speaking tour of the UK with Inside the Ropes, Kurt Angle from StarCast and WrestleCade, and now putting the kibosh on an advertised match with B. Priestley and Tony Storm. And that's not to even mention moving Money in the Bank to compete against Double or Nothing the following week. And that could be because All Elite Wrestling is about to announce their major TV deal in the United States. Since the company's announcement in January, there has been a lot of talk about All Elite Wrestling getting a TV deal in the US. Both Jim Ross and Chris Jericho both teased a big announcement was coming soon, with many speculated that AEW could end up on the former home of WCW Monday Nitro in the late 90s TNT. Both the Wrap and the Wrestling Observer reported that these rumors were indeed true, with the Wrap first reporting that AEW's TV deal could be announced at the media upfront on May 15th. And that could is no longer just a possibility, according to a follow-up report from the Wrap, who say that someone with close knowledge to the situation is saying the deal is virtually done, and it will be announced at the media upfront next week, ironically from WWE's spiritual home, Madison Square Garden. Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Tony will reportedly be in attendance for the announcement, which will likely give us the juicy details on a launch date, time slot, and channel. This comes off the back of AEW's announcement this week that they have partnered with ITV in the United Kingdom, where they will be showing Double or Nothing on ITV Box Office as well as its pre-show buy-in on ITV4, which will feature the Casino Battle Royal for a future AEW Championship shot and Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara. While this would understandably lead many to believe that AEW's weekly TV show will air on ITV4 when it launches, Dave Meltzer notes in the Wrestling Observer that right now such a deal is not signed, but it is reasonable speculation. As of now, the reported start date is in October, and the possible airing days are on Tuesdays or Wednesdays at 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, with the show also airing live in the United Kingdom. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon pledge hammers on Patreon. Watch Laurie and I give our thoughts on the first trailer for It Chapter 2 by watching the video over there. I've been Luke Owen, and that was Mecha News.